So we're going to begin, and I'd like to introduce to you Toni Pyke. And Toni is going to introduce the theme of this webinar on resource extraction in the modern economic system. Toni is the Justice, Peace and Ecology Coordinator with the Association of Leaders of Missionaries and Religious in Ireland, and is a member of the committee of the AEFJN. Toni, you have the floor. You're on mute, Toni.
You'd swear at this stage, I'd know by now. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all on this fine Tuesday evening. Thank you for making the effort to come and spend the evening with us. I have to begin. I absolutely love Christmas. In our household, the Late Late Show toy starts off the Christmas festivities. I go up and bring down the decorations from the loft and merrily place them strategically around the house, joyfully listening to Christmas music. This year, it seems the whole neighbourhood around where I live thought the very same, with lights of varying colours, shapes and flashing intervals, despite the rising energy costs. Yet the preparation for Christmas doesn't begin with the arrival of the elf on the shelf or the first window on your chocolate advent calendar. It is marked by the liturgical season of Advent, when we are encouraged to take time to reflect and recalibrate our thoughts, feelings, and senses to the true meaning of Christmas. The Gospel of Matthew tells us of the birth of a child some 2,000 years ago, who, despite being born in humble surroundings in Bethlehem, was destined to be the King of Kings. This was confirmed by 3 wise men who travelled from the east, guided by a star, to pay homage to the child Jesus. They came offering gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, gifts befitting a king, gifts that symbolised Jesus's kingship, divinity, and mortality. I have to confess, prior to this webinar, I hadn't given much thought to the gifts or where they came from. But if we do consider frankincense, which is an aromatic tree resin extracted from the bark of varieties of the boswellia tree, a tree with an impressive lineage which has been traded on the Arabian Peninsula for some 6,000 years. It was used by Jewish priests in temple rituals and is regularly used during religious ceremonies, for example, at Catholic masses during Christmas. It is also used in perfumes, medicines, and essential oils. Thousands of tons of it are traded across the world every year, much of it sourced from the Horn of Africa, Sudan, and India. Some is also found in Oman, Yemen, and West Africa. Much of the resin used by the Catholic Church today, for example, is produced in the Horn of Africa. Linked by their association with frankincense exports, these countries are also connected by their location in the Human Development Index of the UNDP Human Development Report. In 2022, for example, listed under low human development category, Yemen ranks 183 out of 191 countries. We are all aware of the continuing conflict and famine in Yemen, of drought and famine in the Horn of Africa, and the conflict and poverty in Sudan. Similarly, myrrh, which is a gum resin, is used in making ointments, perfumes, and incense. It was also used by the Egyptians as an embalming agent. Myrrh is produced from the sap of the commiphora tree, a small thorny tree found in desert regions in Western Asia, South America, Africa, and Australia. It's also used in religious ceremonies for millennia and is considered to have medicinal benefits. Myrrh today is used in mouthwashes, gargles, and toothpaste due to its antibacterial properties. The modern commercial exploitation of frankincense and myrrh has not only an ecological impact, but also impacts on the livelihoods and food security of local communities who harvest resins during the dry season, when other sources of income are scarce. If the 3 wise men today were to visit the baby Jesus, they would probably use Google Maps to locate the newborn and arrive by hybrid. It is doubtful whether they would bring frankincense and myrrh, but they would bring gold. To this day, precious metal is symbolic of royalty and wealth. We often store wealth in gold bullion. Some buy gold as a safer asset than storing cash. And gold was also used as medicine some 2,500 years before it was presented to the baby Jesus. In addition to gifting gold, the wise men would be carrying it in their mobile phones. Gold is a key ingredient in mobile phone and other electronic device circuit boards, as it's chemically stable and conducts electricity. Most of us possess gold in some form, a watch, jewelry. Even as I look at my own hands, I have 5 rings on my fingers, a gold chain, and many more in my box. Globally, some 1,600 tons of gold are mined just for jewelry every year, generating over $300 billion in revenue. And that's the stuff we know about. Then there's conflict gold mining, one of the primary drivers of violence in Eastern Congo, for example, where gold has emerged as the most lucrative conflict mineral because it's easy to smuggle small quantities for large profits. More than $600 million in gold is estimated to be illegally smuggled out of Congo every year. The complexities of tracing the origins of gold products means that so far no jeweler or banker has been able to fully trace, audit, or certify that its gold is conflict-free, isn't contaminated by human rights violations or environmental harms. For millions of people, gold mining is an important source of income. But most often, the conditions in which men, women, and children are forced to endure are hazardous, brutal, and deadly. Gold mining is aligned with human rights violations, gender-based violence, land grabbing, forced evictions, ecological devastation, and increased poverty. We are very fortunate tonight that one of our speakers, Isaac Kabongo from the Ecological Christian Organization, an environmental conservation organization based in Uganda, will outline to us some of these issues as they relate to gold mining in the Karamoja region in the north of Uganda. A recent exploration survey in Uganda reported that there are some 31 million tons of gold deposits in the country, with some experts noting that gold in Karamoja has some of the highest levels of purity. And in 2018, the mining company Conroy Gold and Natural Resources discovered deposits of gold near the village of Contrabet in County Monaghan, estimated to be worth 546 million euros. Gold has also been found at a number of locations in County Wicklow, Waterford, Cork, Clare, Tipperary, and County Tyrone. One of the biggest unexcavated gold deposits, worth an estimated £3 billion, is believed to be located in the Sperrin Mountains of County Tyrone. This evening, Fidelma O'Kane from Save Our Sperrins will highlight the human and ecological abuses associated with gold mining in County Tyrone. So let me return to where I began. Advent is an opportune space to reconsider and recalibrate our relationship with one another, with our environment, and with God. In reorienting ourselves towards right relationships, we also have an opportunity to reject commodification and materialism and the sustained human and ecological abuses of transnational companies who seek only to profit themselves and their shareholders at the expense of local communities and their environment. So thank you so much for being here tonight.